In 1973, the Supreme Court ruled on the case of Roe v. Wade and claimed that the right to have an abortion was protected under the inherent right to privacy. The court has also defended the case in other cases such as Casey v. Planned Parenthood, in which the justices ruled that states do not have the authority to pass limitations on abortions that might place undue burden on a woman's right to seek the medical procedure. To be clear, a woman does indeed have the right to have an abortion today. Any state that tries to outlaw this procedure would only be acting unconstitutionally based on the precedent set by Roe v. Wade and other cases. Recently, a new swarm of attacks have risen against the reproductive right in the form of extremist laws that seek to limit abortions availability by outlawing procedures that happen in pregnancies that are over 6 weeks. Many women are not even aware of the fact that they are pregnant within this time period, and these laws go as far as to not make any exemptions to cases of rape and incest. If these laws go into effect, less abortions would only lead to an increased number of children going to an already broken foster care system and adoption programs. As we know from the age of prohibition and current war on drugs, just because something is limited or outlawed does not mean it will cease to exist. The same argument goes for abortion. As lawful abortions come to a halt, women in despair will find other ways to terminate their pregnancy while putting their life in danger. Until the real issue of a flawed sexual education curriculum is addressed, abortions will continue to be a consequence, but a necessary consequence that helps promote gender equality and the expansion of women's rights.
The ability of a woman to have full control of her body is critical to civil rights. In 1973, Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court held that in the early months of pregnancy, a woman, in consultation with her doctor, could choose to have an abortion without legal restrictions. This decision was based off the right to privacy. If the government is forcing women to continue pregnancies, will they force every woman to be on birth control or force every woman to undergo sterilization? Many people make the argument of, well, she should have been on birth control or she should have gotten emergency contraception. If birth control helps prevent pregnancies, is it still considered a form of abortion? Is the morning after pill considered an abortion if it's just a higher dose of birth control? Thank you.
One of the hassles of an unexpected pregnancy is the financial burden it puts on the mother. In the United States, the average cost of delivering a baby in the hospital comes to $8,802. That is according to a Thompson Healthcare study from March of Dance. This huge cost before you've even brought the baby home. It is better in the long run for a mother to wait until she is financially stable enough than to struggle to raise in poverty. If a woman is denied her right to abort, she now has to struggle to not only to support herself, but as well as a child. The estimated cost to raise a child from birth through the age of 17 is $233,610, almost $250,000 towards an unwanted pregnancy. Many women have put their life and careers on hold because of finances in order to raise a child. According to Planned Parenthood, an abortion can range from $0 to $950, much less than $250,000. In conclusion, allowing women to continue legal access to abortions will prevent high unexpected costs for the mother and also keep children out of poverty.
People who claim to be pro-life seem to disregard the life of a potential mother. If abortion was abolished, how can it be okay with a woman living in fear of an unexpected pregnancy that can not only harm her future but her health? We must talk about how if safe abortion was no longer an option, how many more existing lives would be taken. According to Presbyterian health guides, if a woman's health is not well and her right to an abortion is taken away, her unborn child's life is already at risk as well as her own. Women and doctors deserve the right to choose when her health is best to have a healthy child. Also, according to Presbyterian health guides, having an abortion without the assistance of medical professionals can potentially lead to a failed abortion that leaves an unborn with defects and disabilities. It also puts risk the health of the woman. Is ridding abortion almost putting the pregnancy cell's importance above a woman who has already created a life for herself? What about her life? Imagine a woman being unable to go through with a full pregnancy and needed to end a pregnancy. If she were unable to receive an abortion at a safe place done by medical professionals who can confirm the pregnancy, how far along it is, and the best way to terminate the pregnancy, how can she go through with an abortion safely if the resources were taken away from her? She wouldn't. Her inability to receive a safe abortion could lead to worse. Her trying to terminate her pregnancy unsafely, or her following through with a pregnancy that she was unprepared for. Imagine if she was already in bad health. Why does her life not deserve the same amount of validation and worth as the cells forming in her uterus? If we were to rid abortions, they would still happen. They should remain a choice always, and we should keep abortion safe and legal.
Putting limitations on a woman's right to have an abortion can have unintended consequences. For example, if a woman chooses to go through with the pregnancy but decided she could not maintain the baby for whatever reason, she could definitely just put it up or in the foster care system. The foster care system, though, however, has proven time and time again to let kids down in the long run. A woman by the name of Olivia Page experienced the foster care system firsthand, and her stay was not exactly an enjoyable one. She states, "I dare you to say adoption is always an option to any one of the several tens of thousands who has been waiting patiently for years for someone to come." She was one of the lucky ones, but after the foster care system, within it, she didn't have the best experience. She was sexually abused when she was younger, and at 11 years old, she was beaten and verbally abused. But she was afraid to say anything because she felt like it would have had a bad effect on her. If she was asked if she had the choice to be aborted, would she? She said yes, because she wouldn't want any other baby to go through the experience that she had been going through. According to childrensrights.org, there are about 440,000 children in the foster care system, and this number would only go up if the limitations on abortions were more strict. Kids who age at the foster care system tend to have a higher rate of unemployment and homelessness. 40% of those sometimes don't even end up graduating high school. The likelihood of them obtaining a degree is about 3%, and 1 in 2 are likely to develop some sort of drug abuse. Instead of trying to bring more kids into misery, people should focus on trying to improve the lives that already exist.
Having a child is a pretty life-altering event. It affects work, social life, pretty much every aspect of your life changes because of this kid. A South Korean study on the effects of unplanned pregnancy showed that women with unplanned or unwanted pregnancy were 20 to 22% more likely to develop depression than people who planned the pregnancy. Women with unwanted pregnancy were more likely to smoke, drink, or do drugs during the pregnancy and were less likely to attend doctor's appointments. Children of unwanted pregnancy were more likely to develop cognitive and behavioral disorders by the age of 3. It also showed that animosity tends to develop between the parent and the child when the pregnancy is unwanted or unplanned. It kind of goes into the thing we did with care ethics, with Jared during the first chapter, where his mother was 18, she didn't want him. The system kind of failed him because there were so many kids in a similar situation to him or worse off than him. I feel like if you remove the choice of abortion, then the cycle of neglect and animosity continues.